11:2, so day 29. So now it becomes more about assisting others on our journey. So we've worked through the numbers and we've now got to day 29. And at the beginning, it was about the breath. It was about understanding the inner world. And as we work through those days and we work through those awarenesses, standing like a tree, strengthening the observer self, doing the Qigong exercises, we come to a point where it's very clear to see that our creations, our manifestations in the world come from where we're at that moment in time, that our decisions, our actions are based on whatever's happening on the inside, the ability to understand the inner world and to not throw pebbles in the pond lightly. So, we can't, every action, our vibration is constantly sending out ripples, and we can do that more consciously or we can do it unconsciously, and very hard if we're triggered to rein it in, to be conscious that what we're about to say, what we're about to do, our decision that we're about to make, to assess whether that's coming from a healthy, balanced place or whether we are reacting from our thoughts and what's happening inside. So as I went for a jog this morning, these were the words that came to me. So we are a walking vibration. We are a walking vibration. And depending on where the thoughts are, we are either our walking past, our walking future, or our walking present. Very hard to be in the present because generally our thoughts are either residing in the past or they're in the future. Okay, so we can have, so it's really rare that, we can have our thoughts in the past and those thoughts are in a happy place, happy memories. That we can have our thoughts in the past, but in the present it brings up a lovely feeling of a good memory, a good time, a good place, a good space. And so that's a good thing. And we can also have our thoughts in the future based on happiness and an idea of what would feel really good, and creating an image in our head that feels like a lovely image to be living, a lovely place to be. So our thoughts can move backwards and forwards and still be in a good place. You can still be in a good vibration if those thoughts are of a good vibration. However, it seems to be human nature that's more looking at what's wrong. We seem to be lack orientated or drawn towards pain and fear. And so we can either be our painful past. So in the moment, are we responding from our painful past? Are we responding from our fearful future? Or are we in the perfect present? So as I was jogging, and I was thinking, actually, if we're in pain, those thoughts must be in the past. They come from experience of the past, something that we've undergone. So, the uncomfortableness, the painfulness, is from the past. So, very good as we've moved through these days and we've got more awareness and we've got more understanding that our inner world is fluctuating and our thoughts absolutely control our responses and our reactions. And so observing right now, am I in the painful past? Am I responding from the painful past? Has the situation that's just come up triggered my cellular memory? And is it triggering a response that isn't based on the present, but based on the pain of the past? And then the fearful future, aware that actually it's the unknown that creates fear, the unknown. So when our minds are in the future, then that can feel fearful because it's unknown, and there are so many twists and turns that life can take in any moment in time. So we can also observe right now, am I in a fearful future? Has my mind created a picture of the consequences, or what might happen, what could go wrong, what, the failure, whatever it might be that creates fear, but fear in the future. And then the other option is the perfect present. So actually in this moment in time, if the mind is not thinking, nothing is really happening. The body is functioning on its own, so we don't have to think about, our digestion. We don't have to think the process from eating a piece of food and taking it all the way through our digestive system and distributing the energy and the breakdown of it and the chemical reactions. We don't have to think about it. We just eat the food and the body does the work. No thought involved, really, unless you've eaten something that is uncomfortable and it sits in the tummy, and then you think about the food. But generally there are a lot of things that just happen for us. We breathe without thinking about breathing. All the physicalities, all the physiology of the body happens without thought. The rest of it, we are thinking and creating all the time, and that thought, where that thought goes, is where we will respond and react from. So understanding, maybe, who am I right now in this moment? Am I the perfect present? Am I just in the moment, not really moving forward, not moving backwards, but just centered in the energy of what's happening right now, just feeling what's happening right now? And the perfect present might well be painful. The perfect present, if you are present and you're feeling the energy come up, it might be uncomfortable because it's coming up, but maybe coming up from the past or the future, but in that moment you're feeling it. And good, because that allows it to move through. So the perfect present is perfect to allow the energy to release. It's perfect to feel the vibration of it, and the vibration of it being uncomfortable, and keeping the mind still and focused on the texture, the energy, the sensation of it, not giving it a title, not giving it a story, not giving it anything to expand upon, but just in that moment, in the perfect present, I feel the energy of, and then whatever it might be. And then being able to breathe and let it pass through. Okay? As opposed to, maybe right now, I am the painful past, and what's happening has triggered memories, and it's triggered, hurt and sadness and grief and anger, but it's not actually happening now. It's not actually happening. If you bring yourself to the perfect present, that thing isn't happening. It's the past that's come into play. It's the painful past, and then it's natural to, because that painful past is interacting and it's triggered the mind, and the thoughts are trying to protect you from the painful past, or kind of push the painful past away, then our response and reaction is coming from the painful past. And likewise with the fearful future, that if our mind is in the fearful future, then in that present, that fearful thing is not actually happening. The fearful thing isn't here and now, but the mind is telling the story of the fearful future, of what might happen, and then we respond in that moment and interact from that fearful future. So we're in that place of fearful future and interacting in the here and now from that thought process, from those ideas. And so the practice, there's, you know, doing the Qigong exercises, they're amazing really, because the exercises will just shift the energy, and as the energy shifts, the awareness comes through, and we gain greater understanding of how energy feels, the language of energy, and the wisdom and the awareness that goes with it. That takes practice. It does take practice and a willingness to do that practice and uncover the treasure of it. In the here and now, just having the awareness, just the understanding, just that seed that, in any moment in time, I am either coming from the painful past, I'm coming from the fearful future, or I'm in the perfect present. And with that awareness comes an ability to make changes, comes an ability to stop, to pause, and realise that that's what's happening. Nothing to do with the other person, nothing to do with what they've said, what they've done, what their experience is, the impact they're having. In that moment, realising that, oh, what's happening now is, this is my painful past. And then I have choices. I have choices that in the present, do I keep running the painful past and keep repeating those choices, keep responding in the same way, staying in the same cycle? Or do I observe, this is my painful past, so I can do things differently. I can make different choices in the here and now. And the same with the fearful future. If the fearful future is present and there, just knowing that you are reacting and responding from a fearful future, and then pausing and seeing that you can make different choices, you can respond differently. I will talk tomorrow about compassion for the story, but for today, just that awareness. Who am I right now? Am I my past? Am I my future? Or am I in the present? And like I started off, you know, nice if you're bringing a lovely memory from the past, and nice if you're bringing, you know, an excited, inspired vision from the future into the here and now. That's lovely, and that's good energy, and you feel the difference because the energy is flowing and, you know, it's harmonious. If you're feeling stuck, then an awareness of this will help. An exercise that you can do is an exercise to be aware of where the mind is going. So standing like a tree, like I did, I can't remember what day it was, but whatever day it was. But you can also teach the mind to focus. So choosing an object, a candle is a lovely object, but you could choose a crystal or something that's, you know, you don't really want to choose a picture because that can trigger the mind to create a story or bring up memories. You want something neutral, just something that just is. It just is a flame on a candle, or it's just a crystal. So nothing that you've got an attachment to really. And then the idea is to stare at the object and being aware of when the mind travels away from that object. Being aware when the mind either starts thinking about the object, or it has drifted off. It's gone into, you know, a scenario or something you need to think about tomorrow or whatever it might be, and then bringing it back to just the flame of the candle. Probably the candle, I would think, is the best one to choose. So, you know, just placing a candle in front and then keeping your full attention, your full focus on the flame of the candle, and observing. If the mind goes, fine, bring it back. If it travels in a different direction, bring it back. Just keep bringing the mind back to the flame, because when the mind is on the flame, like I said before, there is no story, there's nothing happening. And when the mind is still, we're not sending out ripples, we're not engaging, it's just present, it's just in the here and now. So that's day 29. Just that awareness. Who am I right now? Am I the perfect present, or is my energetic system responding to the past and reacting with the past, or is it reacting with the future? Okay, enjoy.